on to you, Sagittarius. So you Sagittarius have the unalive card, the Ace of Cups, and you have the Seven of Pentacles as well. So these three cards right here, and you may even see some of my ghostly friends. I don't want them to pop up, but they just make appearances in these videos. I don't know where they be coming from. They're not even welcome here, but they still pass through here, I guess. Whatever. Anyway, so a lot of you Sagittarius very much so are becoming, a lot of y'all are evolving. The way that you used to be is not who you are now. A lot of you Sagittarius have learned a lot of lessons, because whenever it is that I get the death card usually represents a person that has to reinvent themselves, or something that has to be reinvented, done, or transformed, right? And the Ace of Cups is about how a lot of you Sagittarius understand that you are going to be giving love, showing appreciation and all of that. But one thing that you Sagittarius are not going to spend so much time showing appreciation to is people who want to take the value that you show to them for granted. I definitely see this is more of, you're going to show value to people who actually do put in gratitude towards hard work. That's the type of people that you'll actually go out and look to seek to be in a relationship with. So a person who does things, manual labor from their hands, isn't bad. I just see a lot of you Sagittarius looking at it with a whole new fresh pair of eyes, right? A whole new pair of eyes. That a person that works hard for something and they have a lot of loyalty, right, isn't a bad thing, right? Just because we're not all six-figure earning and all this other type of stuff. You know, so many people online want to stunt like they're rich. It's so tacky. You know, a lot of people don't have the heart to just say it, like, yeah, like, I'm not rich, but I would like to be one day. Yeah, sure. Am I working towards there? Yeah. I guess you can say that. Yeah. Am I going to actually get there? I guess only time will tell, right? So why that's so important even in the first place is because of the fact that the Ten of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune, a lot of you Sagittarius know that anyone can say anything, where the person may have some money, but it's a complete flip. And a lot of things, especially in this universe, not all the time, but often it's a complete flip, and that the truth is actually stranger than fiction. What actually is going on versus what we falsely perceive, or what we have been duped into perceiving is going on, isn't actually the truth of the matter, right? So this is the reason why it is that sometimes you'll have people, what springs to my mind is when you have people who will say things like they don't want to deal with somebody who is shorter than 6 feet. And it's like, Floyd Mayweather is shorter than 6 feet. Mike Tyson, Goku from Dragon Ball Z, the strongest character in the universe, is 5'9". Conor McGregor, Vegeta, which is the second strongest, is 5'5". Kendrick Lamar is 5'5". Like, some of the greatest protectors in the world have literally been shorter than 6 feet. The majority of the greatest protectors in the world that you've heard of is shorter than 6 feet. So the actual truth is really stranger than fiction. And why that's important in the first place is because a lot of you Sagittarius know the duplicity in it, of how you Sagittarius will know some people in the past who will act like they're so good for you, right? It's such a good match for you in the future, and then now all of a sudden it turns out to be a complete flop, because these people are weirdos. They got hidden agendas. They got all kind of crazy interests and stuff like this, really weird and dysfunctional interests. And it's like, and the thing is that a lot of people wouldn't know that because they're not able to get in where a lot of you Sagittarius can get in, right? So um why that's important even in the first place is because the Four of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords, you Sagittarius have learned that lesson from experience, that you have to really get very good at understanding a person's character, because a relationship is not just about money and physical fun and all of this. It's also about the spiritual connection that you have with somebody. This is why birds of a feather flock together. The reason why they get along and why they flock together is because they have a spiritual connection. They share values. That value is the spiritual connection that they have. This is why they're so tied to one another. It's because they share the same or similar values. And it's the same, and it's no different when it comes to relationships. It's no different when it comes to family or friends. You have to find people that you share similar values with. The Four of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords right here represents it may just take you Sagittarius a little bit of time, because I'm seeing some of you Sagittarius hanging out and kicking it with some people, but the Seven of Pentacles represents some of the people that you Sagittarius have been coming across, or more so finding out that a lot of the individuals that you are engaging with are people who want to look like they have money, right? Or who they put that out there on the forefront. They put it out there on the forefront. These are people who, they have real deep insecurities, right? Like they got a lot of insecurities and stuff like this going on. And, they're really fragile. And what a lot of you Sagittarius are understanding is that the qualities that make someone stand out from other people is not this insecurity per se, trying to put excessive materialism first. It's about spiritual principles that make a person stand out. So the Six of Wands, the Empress, and the Six of Pentacles is about how, so for you Sagittarius, a lot of you don't really mind saying no to some people, especially when they're trying to talk to you and get to know you, because you Sagittarius are becoming much better at being able to know who's realer and who's not, right? Like a lot of you are going out, talking to people, getting to know people, and like you're really just trying to find out what their values are first. That's the thing that they come in the door with, right? Their values. That's what you want them to come in the door with, right? Trying to find out their values. And a lot of you Sagittarius are you're using said intelligence. The Six of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, okay, the Empress and the Six of Pentacles, what also springs to my mind is the fact that you're not going to be distracted with like what I was just talking about with like money, or the person putting themselves out there like they're this at first, right? It's good if the person puts themselves out there as a first presentation. There's nothing wrong with that, but who they actually are has to be consistent with the presentation. You understand what I'm saying? They have to be just as presentable as the presentation, the first presentation. Otherwise, or better. You know what I'm saying? That's possible. Because again, Yoda was a little runt in the woods, right? Yoda was a little runt, a little short pipsqueak in the woods, living in a You know what I'm saying? Living in a terrible housing, living in terrible housing, in the woods eating stew, and Yoda turned out to be the Jedi Master. You dig what I'm saying? So Yoda turned out to be better than what he even represented at first. Because the thing is that you're not going to need them. You're not going to need them from a perspective of allowing you wanting to get to know them be a disadvantage for you. And what I mean by that is them using money to entice you, Sagittarius, to come in, and then now they're like, oh, well, since you're here, do this for me, do that for me. You gonna be my gopher, and you ain't gonna leave because I'm supplying you with money. Because sometimes people will do that. Sometimes people will literally do that, where they'll try to buy your love, and it's like you terrible, and it's like you know what I'm saying? Now when they get you hooked, they get to talk to you any way that they want to, at least in their mind, right? In their mind, they get to talk to you any way that they want. They get to, be as disrespectful to you any way that they want. So now it's like, it's a situation where it's like, you got to get out of that, because this person really is whacked out. They really are whacked out. They really are going crazy. So let's clarify the Six of Pentacles. You have the Five of Wands, Three of Swords, Three of Cups, the Justice, and then you have the Six of Pentacles. So the Five of Wands and the Three of Swords right here is about how, like, they get you caught up with the distraction of it, and then now they feel like they got you in a good enough position to where they can do anything. In their deluded minds, they can do whatever it is that they want to with you, Sagittarius. No, I'm seeing that a lot of you, Sagittarius, are only going to be in relationships where the two of you actually are working with one another. And this is just another grounds as to why it is that I say that if it's 50-50, that it works. Because if it's 50-50, right? If it's 50-50, see, the reason, let me slow down with the game. If the reason why it is that, okay, let me say this, right? Let me, because I got a lot to say. The reason why it is that a lot of the times that 50-50 doesn't work for some relationships is because you'll have some of those people go into their significant other telling them that they want to work and that they actually want to financially contribute around the house. Their significant other tells them no, and then that ends up causing some problems in a relationship. If you have, this is why it is I'm such an advocate for 50-50, because not only is it that both people having something to do that brings in income has both people feeling worthful, valuable in the relationship, because they're bringing their own to the table and they actually have something to contribute. But it also keeps both people honest. Why? Because when you give up everything, you say, oh, okay, blah, 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 okay, blah, 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 blah. Forget about it. Blah, 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 blah. And you go into a relationship and you don't have anything. You're at the mercy of this person's kindness. If this person is a messed up individual, they will put you in a position where they got you. So having your own means of income not only makes you feel like you're contributing, but finances is the life. Financing is the energy to your life. And what I mean by that is finances, or having money of your own, is the life force to being able to survive. Or I should say one of the life forces, because I'm not trying to make it all about money. But it's one of the one of the life forces to survive. Why? Because if you're living in a society where people exchange goods for cash or money or whatever it is, that money can be used obviously to support your lifestyle, live. When you just give up everything, you trap yourself. This is why I'm such a strong advocate for, look, we need to redefine these types of situations. Like, we need to redefine it. Both sides should work. Both needs to go 50-50. It's the only kind of relationship that will work, because all of these traditional relationships, it doesn't work. Otherwise, it would have continued to work. The state of relationships, traditional relationships, is breaking because one of them is overly reliant on the other person. No, I'm encouraging my wife to find some, I don't have one, but I'm saying I would encourage my wife to find something to do. As a matter of fact, that's what I would want, while I do something too. We both contribute. Then not only that too, why this is so important, because I had to talk about it, why this is so important is because when you contribute to something, I don't know if people know this or not, I've talked about this a couple of times, but when you contribute to something, it actually releases feel-good chemicals, dopamine, good senses of dopamine, because what it does is it lets you know that you've done something that actually is important to other people. So you feel not greatly important, right? To where you start going crazy. Only weirdos start doing something small and start going out of hand and going crazy with it or whatnot. But you feel a little bit important. You are generous. You feel generous. So that whenever it is that you just taking, a lot of you may or may not know this, but when you just taking, you actually feel terrible about yourself over time. And that's what creates that spiritual hole of parasitism, or being an energy vampire. Because what does an energy vampire do? What does a parasite do? Feeds, but it never contributes. When you contribute and get, you're actually getting the two sides of the coin. You know what it feels like to contribute. Here's a gift. And you know what it feels like to get one. You know what it feels like to get one. So now it's like, okay, you understand things from both sides, as opposed to if you just give and give and give and give and give and give and give, you're getting fed off of, right? Parasite off of. Then if you just taking and taking and taking, spiritually, like I said before, you become a hollow. We're going to get into those Bleach references in the future. The Three of Cups and the Justice card right here represents a person who's going to be with you has to have a strong connection with their family. They have to want to do things square dealing. They have to live a square's life. Otherwise, if they're deciding to live a not square's life, the life of a gangster, the life of a criminal and all this type of stuff, you set this person by criminals are not fair. So that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. That's pretty much it.